as I've said before, there's a lot of ideas out there. People are telling you all kinds of stuff about what's right, what's wrong, what you should do, what you should not be doing. And everything that you hear, every worldview that's put forth as true can be put into one of two categories. That's the whole point of this big idea thesis that I've come up with. See what you think. Idea one, there's an all-powerful creator of everything that has been created. That's the first idea. Second idea, much simpler. The first idea is false. That's the second idea in a nutshell. So the first idea has this all-powerful creator of everything, at least all those things that have been created. The second idea says no such entity exists. Okay, now, I'm not here to prove one or the other, although I certainly affirm the first idea. What I simply want to illustrate is how all of the other ideas, again, are derived from those first two ideas. Here are some of the ideas that you can get from the first idea. Okay? Human value, human rights, free will, individual liberty, good and evil. Okay? Those are ideas that I think most people think are real. But they exist in the first idea, or that's where they're rooted, but they cannot be rooted in the second idea, or not. And I'll explain why. Let's take morality for existence. There are a lot of things that people think are good and bad, whether it's behavior, decisions made by governments. We call this morality. This was right to do, that was wrong to do. Now, what I'm saying is, the idea of morality can only exist if the first idea is true. Now, this is where most people object. Hey, Kev, what are you saying? If I don't believe in God, I can't be a moral person. I can't do good things. That's not at all what I'm saying. Actually, what I'm saying is stronger than that. There are many people who are good people, don't even believe in God, do wonderful things around the world, helping folks, curing diseases, all that stuff. So I'm not saying that you have to believe in God to do good things. What I'm saying is stronger than that. What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what you believe. What matters is, if God does not exist, there is no such thing as good and evil. That's what I'm saying. If the first idea is false, there's no foundation for what's right, for what's wrong, and for what's good, and for what's bad. I've already said that before in a previous podcast. I'm just saying it over again, just kind of as a review. So let me give you an example of what I mean. Ideas have to have a foundation, and that foundation has to be an absolute. Like 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 isn't 4 because I said it or that you can find it in a math book. 2 plus 2 is 4 is because it's an absolute. And what that means is there's no other state of affairs where 2 plus 2 does not equal 4. It's the only answer. That's what makes it true. It has this characteristic of being an absolute. No other way it could be. If somebody makes an assertion that cannot be traced to some absolute, then all you have is an opinion. And the opposite opinion must also be weighed equally, because there's no way to determine which one is true. You have to have a reference point, in other words. Think of it like this. Anybody, wherever you are, can go north, or at least point to where's north. You know, if you had a compass or something like that, or if you just kind of know, sun setting, those kinds of things, you can figure out what north is. The way you know that north is that there's some reference point, something objective, something that doesn't change. So that when you reference that thing, you know which way north is. But now take the same situation and you're in outer space. Which way's north? If you're floating around in outer space, there's no such thing as north. Because there's no reference point. North doesn't exist in space. That's what makes having some objective standard essential to understand what is true and what is not true. Look at it this way. If you're running on the ground, you have a firm foundation to run. You're moving your legs and you're pumping your arms and you're running because you have the resistance of this foundation. That's why you move along. Okay. But again, out in outer space, you can make the exact same motions and it's meaningless. Moving your arms and pumping your legs in outer space doesn't do anything. Because again, there's no gravity. And the objective foundations when you're running is gravity and ground. When you remove that objective foundation, running has no meaning. In the same way, morality, human rights, all of these things that we say are true no longer exist if, in fact, God doesn't exist. That's what I think is true. Now that I've established at least the premise of my theory, what are some of the things, what are some of the ideas that flow from the second idea? The idea that there is no creator of everything created. Well, here you go. Marxism and all of its bastard children, socialism, communism, social justice, critical theory, Enlightenment ideology. This is the idea that science, replaced religion, and you can understand truth and reality just through science and, the academy. All of those things are rooted in the second idea because they presuppose that God doesn't exist. And so all of these ideas are based on opinions of people. But here's what's key about it. You can never determine right and wrong in socialism. There's no such thing. There is whoever is in control and what they force you to do. That's why individual liberty can only be true if there's a God. Now you might go, well, listen, there are a lot of people who don't believe in God, who think that you should, who support freedom. I get it. You're right. It's like the morality thing. I'm not saying that if you do not believe God exists, you cannot support these things or believe that they're true. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying something stronger than that. I'm saying that if the first idea is not true, those things don't exist. So it doesn't matter what you believe. Or, to say it differently, the fact that you believe that they exist supports the validity of the first idea. Because if the first idea is not true, there is no way to establish any of those ideas that many conservative people who don't believe in God think are true. I don't even know if I said that right. I kind of confused myself saying that, but I think it makes sense. Now, I just want to summarize. Okay. What I'm not saying here is that I'm right and that everybody who disagrees with me is wrong and I've figured out something that nobody's ever figured out. These are all old ideas and have always been around in some form. Today we give them, new names and think we've come up with something new. No, these ideas have been around forever in different forms. The second thing is this. I'm not a religious guy in the sense that I'm not trying to get anybody to change their religion or their understanding of reality. It's not what I'm trying to do. I don't go to church. I didn't go last week, and I'm not planning on going next week. So I'm not some evangelist trying to change everything. Although I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, and you can consider my ideas that of theism. But I'm not here as a platform to preach my particular understanding of the world. Well, actually, I guess that is what I'm doing. What I'm doing here is I have an idea about reality. That's really all it is. And I think it's true. And I'm simply trying to work out this idea. So anybody who disagrees with me, I'm more than happy to engage with them and they can let me know what I'm missing. That being said, this is the summary. Either the first idea is true, there is this all-powerful creator of everything that's been created, or that idea is not true. And everything we understand about the world somehow fits into one of those two ideas. Okay. And I'll end with this. I suspect that if the first idea is not true, then I don't think there's any solution for any of the problems that we deal with on the larger scale. I think we'll always be facing with some group of people trying to take control of another group of people because they don't like the way because they don't like how they think or they behave. that will always continue. So